Ever crossed a Taurus and felt the universe turn its back on you overnight? That's no accident. Hurting a Taurus isn't just personal. It's a cosmic misstep that echoes with karmic weight. Their quiet strength, rooted deep like ancient oaks, carries an energy the stars themselves seem to guard. Mess with that, and you're not just breaking a heart, you're inviting a storm you can't outrun. Let's dive into why betraying a Taurus might be the biggest regret you'll carry. And trust me, I've seen the fallout with my own eyes. Now, you might be wondering, what's so heavy about a Taurus pulling away? It's not just their silence. It's the void they leave behind. When they go quiet, it's not petty. It's a signal they're done pouring their steady, grounding warmth into you. I've watched friends puzzle over this, thinking a Taurus is just overreacting after a fallout, only to realize months later that the stability they took for granted is gone. Picture this: a late-night crisis, and the one person who always picked up the phone, who always had a calm word to steady your nerves, doesn't answer. That silence stings worse than any argument, doesn't it? It's like losing the anchor in a stormy sea. Taurus doesn't lash out often, but when they withdraw, it's a deliberate choice. A wall built brick by brick with every hurt they've swallowed. And here's the kicker: the universe notices. Their pain isn't loud, but it resonates, almost like a low hum that shifts the energy around you. I've seen folks who've wronged a Taurus stumble into bad luck, missed opportunities, strained relationships, like the cosmos itself is balancing the scales. So why does their quiet cut so deep? Because it's not just silence. It's the absence of a rare, unwavering loyalty that you didn't even realize held your world together until it was gone. Let's unpack this further, because there's more to their retreat than meets the eye. And I've got stories that'll make you feel it in your bones. Let's set the stage with who a Taurus truly is, because understanding their heart is the key to grasping why hurting them carries such weight. Taurus, born between April 20 and May 20, is an earth sign ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty. They are the builders of the Zodiac, the ones who crave stability like we crave air, crafting lives and relationships with the patience of a gardener tending to fragile blooms. They're not flashy or loud. Their power lies in consistency, showing up day after day with a quiet strength that feels like coming home. Think of them as the friend who remembers your coffee order without asking, who plans a birthday surprise months in advance, or who sits with you through a heartbreak without saying much, just being there. I've known a Taurus who, after a long day, would cook a full meal for their family, not because they had to, but because nurturing is their language. Their loyalty isn't just a trait, it's a promise, etched deep. But here's where it gets real. They trust slowly, like a vault opening one click at a time. When they let you in, it's sacred. Betray that, and you're not just breaking a bond, you're shattering a foundation they built with their bare hands. And let me tell you about a situation I witnessed a while back. There was this woman, let's call her a dear soul, who poured everything into a friendship. Late night talks, endless support, even helping her friend through a financial rough patch with no expectation of payback. Classic Taurus, right? But when that friend turned around and spilled her deepest secrets during a petty spat, the hurt wasn't just in her eyes. It was in the way she stopped reaching out, stopped sharing. The friend thought it'd blow over, but weeks turned to months, and the Taurus had moved on, not with anger, but with a finality that left the other person scrambling to fill the gap. That's the thing. Taurus doesn't just love hard, they protect their peace harder. Their patience has limits, and crossing that line doesn't just wound them, it shifts something bigger. Studies on emotional resilience, like those from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, show that people with high emotional investment, like Taurus, often experience betrayal as a profound loss, almost akin to grief. Their pain isn't fleeting, it's a scar that lingers, and I've seen the universe mirror that scar in the lives of those who caused it. So, when we talk about karma, it's not superstition. It's the natural consequence of disrupting a soul that gives so much. And we're just getting started on how deep this goes. Here's a twist to chew on. Ever think a Taurus snapping is scarier than a shouting match with any other sign? Most see them as the calm ones, the rocks who never waver. But push them too far, and you'll witness an eruption that shakes the ground. It's rare, sure, but when it happens, it's unforgettable. I've been around long enough to see this play out in real time. Picture a Taurus man, the kind who'd bite his tongue through a dozen slights just to keep the peace at a family gathering. For years, he absorbed little jabs from a relative, snide comments about his job, his choices, always brushing it off with a tight smile. But one day, after a particularly cruel dig about something personal, he didn't just respond, he unleashed. His voice didn't even rise much, but every word landed like a hammer, precise and heavy, cutting through years of unspoken tension. The room went still. Even the relative couldn't muster a comeback. That's Taurus. When they snap, it's not chaos. It's controlled, like a dam breaking just enough to flood the right spot. And here's why this matters. Their outbursts aren't drama for drama's sake. They're a last resort, a signal you've crossed a line so sacred they can't ignore it anymore. Research on conflict styles, like findings from the American Psychological Association, suggests that individuals who suppress conflict for harmony, like Taurus often does, release tension in bursts that feel more intense due to the buildup. So when they finally speak, it's not just anger. It's every hurt they've carried, distilled into a moment. And trust me, the aftermath isn't just awkward, it's haunting. I've seen people who triggered that kind of reaction walk away rattled, not just by the words, but by the sudden realization of how much they undervalued that steady presence. Worse, I've noticed strange patterns follow. Missed flights, lost deals, random arguments popping up elsewhere in their lives. Coincidence? Maybe, but when you've hurt a Taurus enough to break their calm, it's like the universe takes note and starts tallying the score. There's more to this, though, because the real impact isn't in their anger. It's in what comes after. Now let's hit the heart of it. Betraying a Taurus doesn't just sting. It's a soul wound that ripples through everything. Their energy isn't just personal, it's ancient. Like they carry the weight of an old soul who's seen lifetimes of trust, broken and rebuilt. When you hurt them, especially by shattering their trust or mocking their honesty, you're not just messing with a person, you're tampering with a force the cosmos seems wired to protect. I've sat with folks who've crossed that line, and the stories are chilling. Take this one instance. A Taurus woman I knew poured her heart into a relationship. The kind where she'd stay up crafting little handwritten notes for her partner, planning quiet weekends just to make them feel seen. She valued truth above all, always laying her cards on the table. When she found out her partner had been lying about something big, something that undercut every vulnerable moment they'd shared, it wasn't just heartbreak. It was devastation. She didn't scream or fight. She just looked at them, eyes hollow, and said, "I can't do this." Then she walked away, not out of spite, but because staying would have broken her more. That strength to leave, to prioritize her peace over false hope, is pure Taurus. But here's where it gets heavy. The partner didn't just lose her. Within months, their life started unraveling. Job setbacks, family drama, even health scares. I'm not saying she wished it on them. Taurus doesn't do revenge, but their pain, so deep and genuine, seems to send a signal. Call it karma, call it energy, but I've seen it too often to dismiss. A 2019 study in the journal Emotion found that profound betrayals, especially to highly loyal individuals, often trigger a psychological ripple effect, where the betrayer experiences guilt and stress that manifest in tangible life disruptions. With Taurus, it's like that effect gets amplified by some unseen hand. Their old soul vibe, that quiet wisdom they carry, makes their hurt a different beast. It's not loud, but it's felt everywhere. And losing them, it's not just a gap, it's a chasm. I've watched people try to replace a Taurus's presence, chasing that same comfort in others, only to find it's like chasing a mirage. They're irreplaceable because their love, their stability, comes from a place so authentic it can't be mimicked. Hurt them, and you don't just lose a person, you lose a sanctuary and the universe. It doesn't let that slide. I've seen folks scramble to make amends, sending apologies years later, only to find the Taurus has moved on, not with bitterness, but with a door closed so firmly it might as well be bolted. That's the ultimate cost, not just their absence, but the lingering sense that you've lost something the stars themselves value. So, if you've got a Taurus in your life, tread carefully, because the weight of their heart is matched only by the weight of what follows when it's broken. Let's lighten the mood for a second, but keep the truth close. Losing a Taurus hits in ways you don't expect, and sometimes it's the little things that sting the most. Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. and you're spiraling over a bad day, maybe a fight with a friend, maybe a work mess, and your first instinct is to call that one person who always answers, no matter the hour. You know who I'm talking about. The Taurus who'd pick up, voice groggy but warm, listening as you ramble, offering a simple, "It's gonna be okay," that somehow makes it true. But this time, the phone just rings. No answer, no callback. And why? because somewhere along the line, you took that rock-solid presence for granted, said something careless, or let them down one too many times. Now, that lifeline is gone, and the silence on the other end feels louder than your own thoughts. I've been there, watching someone close to me grapple with this exact regret. They'd hurt their Taurus friend with a thoughtless jab during a heated moment, thinking it'd blow over like always. But Taurus doesn't play that game forever. They'd quietly stepped back, not with fanfare, just a slow fade, stopped inviting, stopped checking in. And when that 2 a.m. crisis hit, my acquaintance was left staring at their phone, realizing they'd lost more than a friend. They'd lost a safe harbor. It's funny, isn't it, how the absence of someone so steady can make your whole world feel off-kilter. I've seen it leave people rattled, suddenly noticing how chaotic life feels without that grounding energy. It's not just emotional, it's almost physical, like the air's thinner. And the kicker is, Taurus doesn't even have to say, "I told you so." Their withdrawal is lesson enough. I've chuckled with folks over coffee, swapping stories of how we've all underestimated a Taurus at some point, only to learn the hard way that their quiet strength was the glue we didn't know we needed. So next time you're tempted to test their patience, picture that empty phone line at 2 a.m. and ask yourself if it's worth it. Because once they're gone, you'll feel every inch of that loss. And trust me, it's a cold, lonely place to be. So here's the bottom line. A Taurus is a rare soul, a grounding force whose heart beats with a rhythm the universe itself seems to guard. Hurt them, and you're not just breaking trust. You're inviting karma to settle the score, often in ways you can't predict. Cherish the Taurus in your life. Respect their boundaries, honor their loyalty, and never take their quiet strength for granted. If you've loved diving into this cosmic truth with me, hit that like button and subscribe. It's the energy I need to keep sharing these insights. And hey, I'm curious, do you have a Taurus in your life who's shown you unshakable loyalty or taught you a hard lesson through their silence? Drop your story below. I can't wait to read how their energy has touched your world.